Tesla filing a preliminary proxy statement ahead of its annual meeting, which will be June 13th. The two big requests from the EV maker that shareholders ratify CEO Elon Musk's 2018 pay package and approve the company's reincorporation to Texas, moving it out of Delaware. Joining us now is Charles Elson, the founding director of the Weinberg Center for Corporate Governance at the University of Delaware. Charles, it is good to see you. And I want to start here, Charles, and help me think through this. If Tesla shareholders, Charles, if they vote and approve this pay package for Musk, does that mute or sort of supersede the judge's original decision from a few months ago, Charles, which argued there was a breach of fiduciary duty here?
I don't believe so. I mean, you have to look at the ruling in a couple of ways. She talked about a poor process. She talked about a lack of independence on the part of the directors. Which obviously it's the same plan they put out before. There's nothing new here. They haven't done anything differently. Same people, same plan. But the key is at the end of the ruling, and this is, I think, quite important, she said that the compensation was not effectively fair, that you didn't need to give this man so much stock because he already had so much stock, and that she ordered rescission, that the plan had to stop. That's very interesting because effectively it's a fairness analysis, not necessarily on the process, but the result. And look, let's say all the shareholders, let's say they approve it. Frankly, to give money away, make a gift to someone that has no corporate purpose, if you think about it, has to be approved by all the shareholders, not just the majority. And you can have a vote, and you would still have a, quote, unfair package to the corporation, unless everyone votes for it. And obviously you have a plaintiff here, and that person certainly isn't, and I doubt some others as well. That's the real issue here. And that was the key to that ruling. It was basically the judge said poor process, poor independence, but effectively, in result, wasn't fair. And that's, I think, you've got to think about it. That Delaware always has the right, it's a court of equity, to judge the fairness of the equity, if you will, of a particular action. And this was determined to be inequitable. And that it's really hard to get around that unless everyone agrees to it or they reformulate it.
And of course, Charles, one of the other things that Tesla is trying to get shareholders to approve is actually a change of where it's domiciled, that it would change to Texas and so be subject to the courts there. Do you think that will be successful, and could Delaware courts even block that move?
Well, yeah, there are some actions in Delaware now where folks have sought to leave Delaware to avoid Delaware jurisdiction on a particular issue. I think that would be challengeable. But the real question is, why would a shareholder vote for a move that the CEO says a court has decided against me because what I did was inequitable? So I'm going to a jurisdiction where they'll say that's okay. That Delaware protects shareholders, yet I'm going to move to a place where I'm telling you that...
Well, the answer is, Charles, because the shareholders of Tesla have faith in Elon Musk, which is why they approved the pay package in the first place. I mean, couldn't you argue if the shareholders want to do that, why not let them do it?
But I would really be surprised if the large institutional holders would agree to that. It's against their interest, any way you look at it. And frankly, who's to say a Texas court won't do exactly the same thing, won't respect the Delaware ruling? It's a very sound ruling. There's nothing odd about it. He can appeal it to the Supreme Court, which I assume he'll do. But, that's up to the Supreme Court. If they find it was inequitable, they'll strike it down. But the point is, you can't change states because you don't like the court you're in. You don't like the results you've got. That's a very strange idea if you think about it. Oh, I'm not happy with the answer you gave me, so I'll just go to somebody else. That's not the way it's done legally in this country. And I think the shareholders hopefully will agree. If the judge thinks the package was problematic and the Supreme Court agrees, then perhaps it's time to refresh the board and come up with a different package. But to simply leapfrog a court and move somewhere else, I'm moving out of the United States because I don't like their law. That doesn't make sense either. The law protects the shareholders. It protects the investors. Certainly Delaware does, and I'm sure Texas does too. But it's a very odd response, and I'd be very surprised if a majority agreed to it. They may, you never know, but I think it'd be rather foolish on their part to do so. And the question is, would Delaware let them evade a ruling by moving to another state? Would Texas let them do it? That's a problem for Texas. Texas decisions are enforced in Delaware. Should they not be anymore? I mean, that makes no sense. I think it's It's a grandstanding move that gets a lot of talk and chatter from folks, but I don't know if in the end it's realistic or frankly fair to the shareholders. Simply stated.
So Charles, just briefly then, where do you think this all leaves Tesla, Elon Musk's pay package? What do you think the outcome of all of this is?
That's a really good question. He, obviously made a lot of money with the equity in the company, but he wants more. Look, at some point, someone says, if you don't give me this, I'm going to blow myself up. You have to say, in the end, okay, look, the company has to survive Elon Musk. The obligation of the director is to assure that Tesla's value is perpetual, not based on one person. One person dies, leaves. That can't be the end of the company. And at some point, you have to say enough. But that's where I think you need board refreshment. And obviously, this board is unwilling to do it. At some point, no one is that good or that indispensable. And I think that's the problem here. It's more of the hype, if you will, around the personality cult as opposed to what's happening. Look, Tesla has lost value this year. Tesla's got some issues.
Yeah.
And we've been running the company. Okay, are you delighted that the stock has gone down, this year, or that production profits are off? Obviously, something is not right there. Right. And are you going to say, thanks so much? Here's $55 billion. You're terrific, because you want either you get it or you leave. That makes no sense.
Well,
in the end, really business.
We'll see what ends up happening. Charles, great to get your perspective. Thanks so much.
Thank you.